Hey YouTube, it's me again, Federica, with baby boy Asher. Um, this video is going to be a story time of my pregnancy journey with my son and how everything went and how being pregnant during the pandemic and becoming a first time mom was how that experience was. Um, so first off, I had my son November 17th of 2020. And I was 33 at the time. Yes, I had my son at 33 years old. Um, and so when I first found out I was pregnant, this was during the pandemic. And I remember they were saying they were shutting everything down, and in my mind I'm like, oh Lord Jesus, they about to shut everything down. What am I gonna do? Like, this is crazy. So I remember feeling a little off. But again, as women, we know our bodies, so we kind of know if we are having like something irregular going on with our cycles or whatever. So because my cycle has a mind of its own, sometimes it can be super late, whatever the case may be. And so my I have an app on my phone that I have where it tracks my cycles and everything. So on this app, I looked on there and it showed 12 days late. Now, in the back of my mind, I'm like, 12 days? I honestly, I did not even know I was that late. I didn't even pay no attention to it because I just thought maybe it's like off a little bit. You know, sometimes we can just have irregular periods, irregular cycles. So that's my whole thing. Like, okay, maybe I'm just late. So, and I remember my boobs was really sore, but again, not thinking anything of it, not thinking pregnancy. I'm just thinking it could have been just me drinking a lot of caffeine because I drink sodas and stuff. I do drink water. Oh, excuse me. Don't get me wrong. I drink water, but at this period, at this point in time, just like to have a taste of soda every so often. So I got up, and I started feeling like a little weird. And so I'm like, this is so weird. Like, I'm super late. So, because my best friend called me and told me she was pregnant. So she was pregnant and expecting. And we say hi, boo. And so, um, yes, baby. Okay. And so, I say hi. Say hi. So, anyway, so I, my best friend, called me and told me she was pregnant. So she was pregnant, before me, a month before me. So she ended up having her son October. I ended up having my son November. So, um, when she called me and she told me that, I was so happy for her. I was super excited for her. I was happy. I was like, yes. I was like, because she kept saying she want to have a baby anyway. So, and so I said, okay. I'm like, oh, congratulations, Bessie. I'm so happy for you. Not knowing I'm also pregnant. because I didn't know at the time when she told me. So, early March, they shut everything down. They were shutting everything down. If y'all know, when COVID hit, everything was shut down. Like, everything. Government, everything. Everything was shut down. So, I remember I called and told my mom, I was like, hey, Mom, I missed, like, my period is late. I looked on the app and it said 12 days late. She was like, 12 days? I said, yeah. And she was like, do you think you could be pregnant? I said, I don't know. You know how my cycle is sometimes. Sometimes it can just be out of whack. So, again, I wasn't really thinking. I wasn't really paying any attention. I'm just like, okay, so I told her I was going to order a test and have it delivered. Because everything was so chaotic, I ended up going on Amazon to order my clear. I believe it's Clear Blue. I think it was called. I think the test is Clear Blue. And so I ordered that, and the test came. I ordered that Monday. It came that Tuesday. It had 3 tests in the box. I remember I woke up and I looked at my phone, and it said your package was delivered. I'm a Prime member of Amazon. Love it. And so, you know how you get the next day delivery? So that's what I did. Don't mind my son, y'all. He he all over the place. Anyway, so boo stop. So anyway, I took the test. Before I took the test, I called my mom and said, Mom, the test is here. And she said, okay, you want to take it? I said, yeah. And that's all I said. So listen, if I call you crying, that means that I'm pregnant. And she said, okay, honey, well, I'm looking forward to hearing some tears. And I was like, okay. So my brother, who was living with me at the time, I was like, bro, I got the test. I'm about to go in here and take it. He was like, okay, good, yay. I hope it's positive. I'm ready to be your uncle. I was like, okay. Because we have other nieces and nephews. He has other nieces and nephews, but he don't see them. Like, So I told him, I said, okay, I'm about to go take the test. And so I went to go do the test, and my initial thought, before I even did test, like, oh, I already know it's going to be the same thing as it's going to be a negative. I don't even know why I get my hopes up. It is what it is. But I took the test. Y'all know how the test says it takes like 3 to 5 minutes or something like that for the results to come in. Y'all, it didn't even take that. As soon as I, on the stick, y'all, positive. I was so happy. All I could do was sit on the toilet with my hand over my mouth, like, oh my God, like, oh my God, like, is this for real right now? So again, because it was 3 tests in there, I took the first one. Later that evening, I took the second one, and the day after, I took another one. I took all 3 tests. All 3 were positive. So I come out the bathroom. I'm telling my brother, I'm like, Stanley, that's my brother's name. I was like, Stanley, I'm pregnant. He was like, for real? I was like, yes. And so I went and I called my mom, and I was like, Mom. And I'm crying because I told her if I call her crying, that means I'm pregnant. I called her crying, I'm like, Mom, I'm pregnant. And she was like, really? For real? And she was like, oh, baby, I'm so happy for you. Oh, I'm so happy. Finally, I'm going to be a grandma. Because she kept saying she want grandkids. She kept saying it. And because all her kids are older. We're older. Like, we aren't like in our 20s. Like, all of us are in our 30s. So, well, at the time, all of us was in our 30s. My sister is older. She's like 40. Please don't kill me for saying your age, sis. But, so all of us are older. So, it's like, she wanted grandkids sooner rather than later. And she always say, I want y'all to give me grandkids, but I don't mean I want y'all to go out there and just sleep with anybody. I want grandkids, but I want y'all to have with somebody that's going to be, somebody y'all dealing with, not just some random person. I said, you right. So I was the first one to end up giving her the grandchild. So fast forward, we get to where I made the appointment to confirm my pregnancy. And because this is during COVID, everything was shut down. It's kind of hard to make appointments during that time. So the first place I called, they said they wouldn't be able to get me in there until the 22nd of April. I'm like, nah, that's too late. Like, I need to start getting, like, the prenatal vitamins. I need to start, checking to make sure everything is good. So I end up calling the doctor's office I normally go to, and they got me in there on the 26th of March, which is perfect. Fine. So, and they was taking your temperature at the door, and because um they let my mom go in with me this one time, let my mom go in with me to confirm the pregnancy, to check to make sure everything was good or whatever. And because um you couldn't bring nobody with you for the rest of the appointments, my mom, my son's father, like, nobody can go with me to none of the appointments because, again, this is COVID. They trying to alleviate any spreading of the virus, anything like that. So all my appointments that I went to my doctor's office, I had to go by myself. The only other time somebody was able to go with me, like I said, the first appointment I had was to confirm the pregnancy, and then when me and my son's father found out what we were having, the gender. After that, nobody else can go until it was time to have our son. So we were hoping to have my baby shower at the place that I seen, but unfortunately, because of COVID, they was not open. They shut down everything, so we had to have the drive by baby shower, which means everybody drive by, um, drop off their gifts and everything, and kept going. My family, like, no, we don't do that. We want to come in, we want to sit down, everybody sitting down, talking, eating good food and everything like that. So, so we end up, everybody was coming in, they set up the tent outside because we supposed to have had it that Saturday, but the weather was so bad. I end up having my baby shower September. It was supposed to be September 26th, but we ended up having it September 27th because the rain was so bad. It was raining so bad. The weather was terrible that Saturday. We ended up switching it to that Sunday. And so some people were not able to come, but they still end up sending gifts anyway. So they sent their gifts. Everybody came with their gifts. Everybody was super excited. And again, people had to have their mask on. I couldn't really have no, like, super contact with everybody because of the fact of the, what was going on. And so everybody couldn't really be around me too close because they tried to keep me safe, me and my son at the time safe. So we did that, and I'm skipping all over y'all, but I'm a piggyback on some stuff. So so I'm gonna go back a little bit. So we went and found out what we was having in August. I believe it was August. We went to find out what we was having. And my son father called it. He was like, "Oh, we having a boy. It's a boy. It's a boy." And mind you, I thought I was saying boy too at first, but I was like, "No, it's a girl. It's gonna be a girl. It's gonna be a girl." And I should have known because I was having, like, I couldn't keep nothing down. Like, I could not eat nothing for my first trimester. I couldn't eat anything. Like, I did not have no kind of appetite whatsoever. And plus, everything I ate, my son would not agree. It would not agree. So I would bring it back up. And also, I don't know why I didn't. I was craving Captain Crunch cereal. Y'all, I was craving Captain Crunch cereal so bad that I was looking all over to find it, and I could not find it. Even my best friend was like, "Oh, we're going to find this Captain Crunch cereal for you, girl. I don't care what I got to do. I don't care if I have to go to Captain Crunch myself and have him to deliver it to you. I'm going to find you some Captain Crunch cereal." So I end up finding the Captain Crunch cereal on Amazon. Here we go with Amazon again. Amazon queen over here. So I said, okay, cool. So I end up getting my Captain Crunch cereal, and my stepfather was like, yeah, we should have known. You craving Captain Crunch cereal? I'm like, yeah, and it couldn't be the berries. It had to be the plain, regular, original Captain Crunch cereal. So after that, my stepmom, who unfortunately passed away before my son was born, I remember my mom told her she was super excited. She was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna buy some stuff." She said, "But I'm gonna wait first before we find out what you have." And she said, "And also I want to wait to see what everybody else gets, so we won't be getting the same things." And that July, her birthday was the 16th of July, and like a week later, her aunt posted that she passed away. That was really hard because she was so excited about the baby, and she was just talking about it all the time, like, "Oh my God, she finally gonna be a mom. This is so exciting." And they had her funeral, and again, because it was COVID, we couldn't stay long, and I couldn't be around a whole lot of people. So we end up going to her funeral. We end up coming back home, and so then after that, was like I said, going back to my baby shower or whatever. I got a lot of stuff. My son so loved. Like everybody was buying so much stuff. My sister best friend came and she bought some things or whatever. And everybody was so excited, so happy. We was getting everything together. I ended up getting a doula around maybe my end of my second, early part of my third trimester. I ended up getting a doula, which was a friend of the family. One of my sister's really good friends is a doula. So she decided that she wanted to, help out for the later part of my pregnancy. And during that process, y'all, again, we we are in the middle of a pandemic. I know I'm keep saying it, but we was in the middle of a pandemic, so we were trying to make sure we took every precaution of keeping us, safe, and keeping me safe and everything like that. So after that, we my last two appointments was to check to see where my son was positioned at, and this was around like my I think like 35 weeks, 36 weeks is when we boo. I'm sorry, y'all. My son knocked my darn camera out. Knocked the thing out of my hand. Anyway, so we had to. I went to do they call it the stress test, and like I said, I think it was around I think it was around like the 35, 36 weeks. They started to do it where you go in the little room. I don't know how they do it in other states, but I know where I'm at in Maryland, and where they did it at, they put where it's like a little room and they got the little monitor, almost like how the monitor will be when you go into labor and delivery, and they had the monitor for you and then a monitor for your child. So they put that on my stomach, and I remember the lady that was doing it, she was like, "Oh, your son just not, he ain't want to move. Like, he don't want to move for me." And she gave me water to try to, see if that'd get him to move. And he was moving a little bit, but she was just checking his heart rate, like to see, and checking. And she was like, "You having contractions?" I was like, no. She said, "You don't feel them?" I said, "No, I don't feel them." She said, "Yeah, you definitely having contractions." So, yeah, so then I went into the other room, the other part where they did my ultrasound and everything, and check in and make sure everything was good. And again, to check to see, everything is fully developed now. Because again, this is the crucial time. Like, your 36, 37 weeks, this is crucial. So they want to make sure everything is good. Everything is in its prospective places, making sure that my cervix is good, my placenta is still intact, everything is still good, everything is a-okay. So I remember I was having like the last appointment I had, which was my 38 weeks, I believe, or 38 weeks, 38, 39 weeks, I believe. I think it was 30. 39 weeks. And I went, and one of the doctors said, well, we just want to make sure you're okay. You have any questions? He said, what we want to do is we want to make sure that you are good, and we want to make sure that we get your baby out. We want to make sure that the baby is here before Thanksgiving. And he was like, so if he's not here by at least by 39 weeks, we may have to go ahead and induce you. And I was like, okay. He said, I know some women don't like that. Some mothers rather for nature to do its own, take its course, nature do its course, and everything like that, the body do its own thing. He said, but sometimes we have to step in because we don't want you to go over or past your due date. So my due date was November 16th. And that was my due date. That was supposed to be when I had my son. So the day, like a week before, I was supposed to be, I remember I was having really bad Braxton Hicks where I thought I was having contractions. I went to the hospital and they was like, no, it's just Braxton Hicks, and they checked me. They said, oh, you're only 1 centimeter. So I was like, okay. So they said, it's fine. Braxton Hicks is always, Braxton Hicks can feel just like contractions, but they're really not. The contraction will be more intense. So I was like, okay, no problem. So we left and they called me and they was like, hey, Miss Bender, we want to schedule you to get induced. I was like, okay. And they said, we know this is not what you wanted, but we're going to go ahead and get you in on the date you're supposed to have your baby, which is November 16th, which was that Monday. So I said, okay. So they told me I can eat before I come, everything like that. And I should get there no later than 6:15, or because they want to start getting me, I got to fill out paperwork and everything like that. So, as me and my son father, we get prepared to go. My mom and my stepfather came over to help out. So they came over and they stayed for a week to help me out with, my son. This is what I be talking about, y'all. My son likes to climb on the back of the couch. I don't understand why, but he does, as y'all can see. He likes climbing on the back of the couch. So, come on, get up here. So, as we were preparing to go to the hospital, which was the old PG hospital, we were preparing to go there, and I know I'm probably like, y'all probably like, oh, she telling all her. Listen. Why am I going to hide where I had my child at? Anyway, so we got there at 6:15, 6:20, 20-ish maybe. And they finally came out and they asked, they was like, did you eat already? I said I ate a little something. I didn't eat too much. And so, y'all, my son be doing the most. Just be doing it. Everywhere mommy go. But so yeah, so they came out, they asked me questions, and I had to fill out a whole bunch of paperwork. Y'all know how that is. You got to fill out basically your whole life story for the labor and delivery. So we get to the labor, we come downstairs, and so when we got to the hospital, we had to go downstairs to the labor and delivery, and when we got there, like I said, we sat there for a little while. The lady finally came out and she asked me questions. They told me I had to fill out some paperwork. So I had to fill out a whole bunch of paperwork and everything. And so once that happened, they took me in the back, took me to my room, got me set up, put the IVs in, everything, monitors, everything like that on my stomach. Then they finally let my son father come to the back. And he was back there with me. Again, he was the only person that can be there with me. And if he was to leave, somebody else would come back up there. It couldn't be like two people in the room again because it's COVID. So they got me set up. They put the monitors on my stomach, and they did the COVID test, and mine was negative. Thank God. And so they had to give me another shot. So when I went to the doctor, I think it was my 36 weeks. They gave me a shot, and I forgot that it was something. The R8, some type of shot. I can't remember what it was. And it was they give you the first one during your 36 weeks. They give you the second one during your labor and delivery. So they gave me that, and as time went on, they finally they started the induction, which means they gave me Pitocin, I believe that's what it's called. And they gave it to me, and they told me that I should start feeling contractions, and I should start, dilating more. Because again, they checked me when I came in, they said I'm still at 1 centimeter. I was like, okay, cool. So they gave me that, and the nurse that was on staff, she said, I ain't gonna be here when you in the morning. She said, so I'm gonna try this now. She said, I want this child to come when I'm still here. So they gave me the Pitocin around, I think it was 8 o'clock that night. And they was waiting. They came in to check to see if any progress. And so no progress. So they told me, okay, we just gonna let you, since there's nothing happening right now, you can eat something. So I ate something, which the food was good. Like, I ain't gonna lie, like the hospital food was impeccable. It was really, really good. And especially that water, y'all. Oh my God, if y'all ever had the cold ice water in the hospital, ooh, and them little containers of the apple juice, baby. But anyway, so after that, I got comfortable, sat there, had to keep going to the bathroom. And I remember I kept because he was on my bladder so much, y'all. I had to keep pressing the little thing for them to help me go to the bathroom, because I had the IV and everything connected to me. So I remember the last time I clicked them to come and take me to the bathroom, help me to the bathroom, nobody came. So I'm waking my son father up. I'm like, wake up. I was like, oh my God, I gotta use the bathroom. I was like, babe, I gotta pee so bad. The way the way he jumped up out his sleep, he jumped up, got the cup that he had his soda in, poured out the little bit of soda that was left in there, gave me the cup, and held the cup so I can pee. I was like, oh my God, that was just, oh, Jesus. So after that, I was okay. I started to feel little contractions, but I wasn't feeling like major contractions, because again, he was on my bladder, so I was feeling more of me having to pee. But I was also feeling the contractions as well. But they wasn't like intense contractions. So after that early that morning, about maybe like 11, they came to check me. They was like, no, still nothing. So they said, we're gonna give you another dose of Pitocin. I was like, okay. And so they didn't make the dose higher. They just gave me the same amount, which was fine. I wanted my doula to be in there, but she couldn't again, because it's COVID. It's a pandemic. So she came in, and they gave it to me again, but it was a different nurse. So maybe like I want to say they gave it to me about 10 or 11 that next morning, which was that Tuesday, the 17th. Maybe around like, nothing was happening. And the nurse, who, y'all, to this day, I truly, truly appreciate her, because she was like, if it was not for her, my son probably wouldn't be here today. But she was looking at the monitor, and she kept noticing how my son's heart rate was kind of like up and down. And she said it's supposed to be like a pattern, like a wave pattern. She said it would be like a wave, then it goes flat. A wave, flat. And she said it's supposed to be like a steady rhythm. And she said, and she told me, she was like, this was around about maybe 5-ish, maybe 4:30, 5 o'clock. And she was like, she said, I don't want to scare you, Mom. She said, but something is just telling me something's not right. Like, I can feel it. Something in my heart is telling me something's not right because your son's heart rate is just not where we want it to be. It's supposed to be at a certain rhythm, and it's not. So she said, something may be wrong. So I don't want to scare you. I know this is not what you want to hear. She said, but I'm just going to go and get the doctor so that she can better explain to you, because if there is something wrong, we want to go ahead and catch it before it's too late. So I'm sitting there like, oh my gosh. So I'm on the phone with my mom, calling her, telling her they saying that something may be wrong, and they just want to check to make sure, because his heart rate is not the rhythm that they want it to be. So my son father is looking like, oh God, what's going on? So we both on the phones with our moms, like, listen, this is happening. So the doctor came in and she was like, yeah, we're saying that his heart rate, the beat of his heart, or the rhythm of his heart, however you call it, is not how we want it to be. It's supposed to be at a certain pace, and it's not. So that means that he may be in distress. He may be, something may be stopping him from moving down. So we don't want to keep waiting. We don't want to take no chance. So we're going to go ahead and take you in for a C-section. She said, she said, this is an emergency, but it's not like a it's not like a super emergency C-section, but at the same time it is, because we want to get him out. So, with that, they took me in, but before that, my stepfather always said they came in there like SWAT, and they really did though. Like, it was like 10 people doing everything. Like, one person was wiping me down, another person was installing the catheter, the other person was checking to see if I needed shaving. They was like, no, you fine, you were good. Another person was just basically telling me what's about to happen. And because my son father couldn't go in the operating room with us, he was pissed, y'all. Like, he was highly upset. And I'm just like so confused. I'm so like trying to like figure out what is going on right now. So we go into the operating room. All these people standing there waiting for me. They transferred me to the bed I was on, to the operating table, and they tell me that they about to give me the epidural. They gave me the epidural. That's, ooh, y'all. Whew, Jesus. Even though they numbed you, I still felt that thing. Ugh, goodness gracious. So after that, I lay flat on the table, and all I can remember is her saying that she's about to cut. And so when they did that, and she said that, oh, he's here. And at first I didn't hear him crying, but he did stop crying. And they said, and she said, oh, this is why you wasn't trying to come down. She said, because your umbilical cord was wrapped around your neck. His umbilical cord was wrapped around his neck twice. So that is why his heart rate was the way it was, is because the umbilical cord was wrapped around my son's neck. And once they did that, one of the nurses, one of the residents that was with one of the nurses, one of the doctors said, would you like me to take pictures? I said, yes. And she said, okay. So I let her take the pictures. And y'all, when I say she did a phenomenal job, she did a like, she looked like, my son looked like he had a whole photo shoot. Like, yeah. So after that, she said, they was, closing me up and everything, and it hurt. Like, it wasn't like a pain, like unbearable. It was just like pressure, and it really hurt really bad. It was uncomfortable. It was an uncomfortable feeling. After that, I don't know what else happened after that. I didn't even know they was taking me back to the recovery room, or the postpartum room. I'm not sure what room it was, but I can't remember. Cause again, I'm out. Like, I was out of it. After all that, I was out of it. And I remember waking up the next day, because I had my son November 17th, 2020 at 6:45 p.m. and he weighed excuse me, he weighs 7 pounds, 7 pounds, 13.8 ounces. Um, and yes, a Scorpio. And I remember waking up and I'm looking around and I didn't even know my son was in the room with us. But I looked and I was like, oh my God, my son, he's here. He's in the room with us. And my son's father was over there knocked out asleep. So he finally woke up and he was like, hey, how you feeling? You good? And I'm like, I'm just still like in kind of like in a daze, but at the same time, I'm still kind of like shocked that, oh my God, I'm a mom. I'm officially a mother. And so they came in, they asked me, was I okay? They checked my son, make sure everything was good. And I remember one of the nurses came in there and she said, how you doing? Are you okay? She said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you get up and I'm going to help you, wash up, wash yourself off and everything. I'm going to look at your, and help you change your, your bandages out because I had the C-section. So she said she's going to help me do all that. And at this time, I'm like still in shock because I don't remember nothing after that. My son father was like, he tried when I came in the room, he was trying to get my son out his out my arms and I was holding on to him for dear life and I was like, no. I'm like, I don't remember none of that. So after that we I tried, so they wanted me to try to breastfeed. And my son latched on a few times, but it was kind of like hard to get him to latch on. I remember one of the nurses came in, it's so funny. And she was like, oh, I think she was Jamaican or African, whichever one. And she was like, oh, why don't you want to, she said, why don't you want your mom's breast? She said, your mom had beautiful breasts or whatever. And she was saying, oh, I'm going to steal your father. And my son's father was up there just looking, laughing. I'm like, you like when somebody say that to you. So, stop, baby. So, again, I'm still trying to process everything. Everybody was calling, checking to see how we doing. Everybody was so excited. Because again, first time mom, I'm super excited. And so, y'all, it seemed like we was in that hospital forever. We got there Monday. We did not leave that hospital until Thursday. Y'all, we was tired. I was ready to go. And we wanted to stay longer so that they can give him his circumcise him. But because of the fact that the surgeon that supposed to have been doing the circumcision was so busy because it was a lot of women having their babies. We was like, I'm not about to keep waiting no longer, So he did end up getting circumcised, but when he was 6 months old, he got circumcised. So yes, I know y'all probably like, oh my God, why again? They said that we would have to wait a whole nother day. Again, y'all, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Like, I'm just ready to go home. I just want to be in my own bed, just finally ready to get out this hospital. And so we said, okay, fine. So they finally released us. Let me tell y'all, the way we got up out that hospital, you would have thought that it was a fire. Like, we got up out of there. I mean, I couldn't run, but my son's father, he was up out of there. He went to go to the car. His mom came to pick us up. And so we got home. Everybody was super excited. Everybody was coming over. Again, everybody had to keep their mask on, wash their hands, everything like that. When it came to our newborn, because again, we still dealing with COVID at that time. And so, yeah, again, my birthing experience was not what I wanted it, but I'm happy it went the way it did because if it wasn't for that nurse that took the initiative to say something is not right, something is wrong, my son probably would not be here and I probably wouldn't have been no good. So, yeah, I'm super excited about that. And I'm blessed and happy about my baby boy. And everybody was like, you know, what made you come up with the name Asher? And so me and my son wanted to keep his name biblical. And I said, okay, well, we can do, we can keep, I told him if we choose a different name, it has to be biblical. He said, I don't care, no, it's no problem. Because we were just going to give him his first name is Isaiah, but because Isaiah is so common, we said, let's find something different. So he chose the name Asher, and we took Isaiah to put as his middle name. So that's how we came up with Asher Isaiah for my son name. Let me tell y'all, being a mom is the most rewarding thing ever. Don't get me wrong, it can be a lot at times, especially being a new mom. It can be very tiresome. It can be, challenging. But I would not trade this for nothing in the world. Like, I love my son so much. Like, he brings so much joy. Even when in moments where I just feel like, okay, I don't feel like doing this no more. He's right there, like, smiling, just doing every little thing just to, like, make me not feel so down on myself. And even in my situation I'm going through right now, at the end of the day, as long as I have my son, my health, and all that, I'm good. So yeah, I just wanted to share my little story time of my birth and my son's birth and how my pregnancy went, and everything like that. I fairly had a good pregnancy. Like, I didn't have any issues except for my blood pressure was kind of up high at some points, but it wasn't to the point where it caused them to have to, you know, consider it a high risk or me having preeclampsia. Thank God for that. But no, other than that, I've had a pretty decent pregnancy. My pregnancy was absolutely amazing. And I I think anybody that's going through that journey of trying to figure out if they want to have a child, you know, I feel like if you know that's what you want to do, by all means do it, but just be mentally prepared for it. Because especially if you have a boy. Because having a boy, oh my God. It is not for the faint of heart. I'm telling you. Like, being a boy mom, oh, Jesus. Y'all, it is it's crazy sometimes. Because my son be doing the most. Like, my son be finding every little thing to get into. He will do some crazy things. And I be like, oh my God. Also, what's funny is, y'all, at 4 days old, my son was holding his own bottle. I lie to you not. He was holding his own bottle. And then he started crying. Mind you, it's quiet on the labor delivery floor where we was at. And it was super quiet. My son started crying. He woke up every baby on the floor, and all the babies started crying. We was like, Asher, now why you didn't wake up every baby up on this floor? Every child was knocked out sleeping. Here you go doing a whole choir, and all these kids is crying now. So yeah, but yeah, I know that was random. Threw that in there, but I just wanted to let y'all know. Yes, I decided I wanted to give y'all a labor and delivery video. Basically, just to tell y'all how my experience was as being a first-time mom, being pregnant during the pandemic, and all that. How my pregnancy plan didn't go as planned. But now that I look at it, I'm glad that I had my child the way I did, a C-section. Because if I would have waited and told them no, I probably wouldn't have my son today. So, with that being said, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment how your pregnancy was like, because I know a lot of women been saying about the whole C-section thing and everything, and how it's something that most women, don't plan. Some women, that's the route they have to go. And I admire women who go through that. And the fact that I experienced it is hard, because you have to be very careful with everything. You can't lift nothing. You can't do too much of anything due to the fact that you just had major, and that is considered major surgery. But yeah, if you like the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also leave a comment. I appreciate all the love that I'm getting thus far on my page, and I hope to continue to bring y'all more wonderful content. And hopefully, I get more and more likes, more and more subscribers. Yeah, so until then, it's me, your girl Frederica, and I hope you guys continuously have a blessed and wonderful day. Thanks. Bye.